Well, I saw our next guest on Broadway as the Genie in Aladdin. It was one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen, hence why he won the Tony Award. He is also incredible in Hamilton and a new documentary on Hulu. James Monroe Iglehart, it is a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
How are you doing, man? Good to talk to you, Ryan.
I can't begin to tell you how magical it was to see you on Broadway. I think it was my very first Broadway show. I've only been to a couple. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, we do a lot of off-Broadway here in Chicago. We have
of
a
course.
great theater community.
Yes.
But to see it on Broadway and to see you as the Genie, I mean, you must have been exhausted every night after that role.
What's funny is people always assume that, and actually no, it's such a big adrenaline rush, and I had trained so hard for it that really I was feeling good after the show. It wasn't until after I got home, had a meal, sat down, watched TV for a while that it finally hit me. Most of the time I was still so jazzed, like, yes, because it was basically, people say when they run a marathon, they feel like still energized. That's kind of how it was.
And where is the Tony Award now? Is it in there?
The Tony Award is not in this room right now, no, but I will say it is above my TV. Hold on, my wife is asking me a question. It's very, very important. Keep talking.
No, I love this. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, and because it's live. The great thing about what's happening with this world right now is that my wife is also working from home. I'm working from home, but the Tony's above the television where I can see it all the time.
Yeah, I hear that you're a huge Disney buff.
I am a huge Disney nerd. The fact that my wife has lived through it, thank God she's a big Disney nerd as well. If this pandemic wasn't going on, we probably would have been at Disney World at least twice in between all this time.
So what's your go-to film? Is it Aladdin, or like what's your all-time favorite?
Oh, my wife brought me the
Tony.
Tony.
Oh, look at that. And the Tony goes to.
Really thank you. Yes, have it with me. My go-to film, it changes. And it really, Disney Plus has not helped me. It's not helped me at all. It's just made it worse. So my go-to film, used to be Jungle Book or Aladdin, and now it's like Coco. Sometimes you just feel like crying. I'm like, I feel like crying. Let me turn on Coco and just start singing, remember me, just lose my mind, just be in the house with a cat, just petting it. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm just watching Coco. She's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go in the other room.
But do you just wake up with that voice? I mean,
strangely, yes. It's I've kind of had it. It's my father's, and I say thank you for him for giving it to me. The singing voice is my mom. The speaking voice is my dad's.
All right, you got to give us just a little taste. You don't have to go into total song, but come on, we got to hear just a little something.
Of what?
Anything. What do you wake up singing?
You know what? To be honest, most people think I wake up singing "Friend Like Me," and that's not true. I usually wake up singing "When You Wish Upon a Star Makes No Difference," because in my mind I'm like, listen, everything will be fine, especially with the way 2020 has been going. I'm like, I'm just wishing everything will be back to normal, or at least better than it was before. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Amazing. Well, I watched the documentary last night on Hulu. We are Freestyle Love Supreme,
Yes.
and you actually brought the singing portion sort of to that group, because that group is an improv hip-hop group with Lin Manuel-Miranda, a very young Lin Manuel-Miranda in that documentary. But tell people that don't know sort of what that group is.
Freestyle Love Supreme is a hip-hop improvisational group. So basically, you give us a word and we will create an entire show out of nothing, but with hip hop and with R&B. So we have two keyboardists, a beatboxer, MCs, and a singer. And as far as bringing the singing to it, Chris Jackson actually is the original guy. You'll see him in the documentary. He also is the original George Washington that you hear on Hamilton, the soundtrack, and in Hamilton on Disney Plus, and the original on Broadway. So he was going to do In the Heights with Lin, and so they needed someone to take over for him. We were good friends. He knew I was a good singer and a good improviser, and also he knew I could freestyle. So he was like, James, come in. So I stepped in for him while he was doing that off Broadway. Once we all came back and everybody was on Broadway, we all just stayed together as a group. Nobody left. It wasn't like, sometimes when you have like a person step in, that person steps in and they also leave. Nah, we just stayed together. We became just a giant, like, Wu-Tang like freestyle group. So Chris is there, I'm there, Utkarsh is there, Lin's there. We have a bunch of brothers and a bunch of ladies now who are fantastic freestyle rappers and singers, and we just bring a whole great show. And this documentary shows the journey of how that happened, of these very young, very thin, very much having hair on top of their heads guys to the thick, buff, bald people you see today. And it is awesome. It's 15 years in the making, and it's a great journey. And it's also a journey to let people see that if you have a dream, don't just think that the folks who are like made it, like when you see Lin on TV or see me on TV or see Chris on TV, that all of a sudden they just got there. Oh my God, look how lucky they were. No, there was a journey. There was a long journey of us, working hard to get to this moment. And this documentary shows that journey, and it's a fun one.
Yeah, there's a part in the documentary, and I'll never forget it. Watched it last night, and I'll never forget this part for the rest of my life. Lin Manuel is walking down the street in Times Square, New York City. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
And people see cameras, so they think he's a celebrity, but he's not a celebrity. It's 2005. He's nobody. And his buddy goes, yeah, chances are nobody will ever know your name. Do you ever think about that? And he was serious. Like, he would just
because he was writing musical theater. He was writing musicals. And those of us in the musical theater community know that we are known in the musical theater community, but never in a million. Social media wasn't around. Social media wasn't that way. Nobody walked up on Andrew Lloyd Webber or walked up on Stephen Sondheim and was like, yo, let me get your autograph, in some other city. But now with the way that Instagram is, Twitter is, Snapchat is, Facebook, people know who we are and they enjoy what we do. And then Lin became Lin because of In the Heights and Hamilton. Nobody knew who James Monroe Iglehart was when I was doing Memphis, but because of Disney and because of Aladdin, here we are. Chris Jackson's on TV. David has got his own TV show on TBS. Everybody is somebody. Now, we were always somebody. It's just people didn't know who we were. Now they do.
Yeah, when I watch the documentary, I almost think of Saturday Night Live, the very first cast. Remember all the stars that were on that cast, and they all became mega stars. It's sort of magical. It's a moment that is capsulated now forever. Of course, you also star in Hamilton.
Yes, I do.
When did you know that was going to be what it is?
From the first moment that Lin played a track for me. I'm the original Mulligan. We did a concert at Lincoln Center, and then that same night, the director of Aladdin said we were greenlit for Disney. So I went off and did that. They went off and did Hamilton. Next thing you know, 3 years later, they said, "Hey, James, you want to come back to the Ham fam?" I said, "Cool, yes, I do." And now we're here. We were all working on these projects that are big now, years ago, and now people know what they are. It's nothing but a blessing and nothing but a magical moment. It's nothing but hard work, and it's nothing but luck, and it's nothing but being in the right place at the right time with the right group of people. And I'm so happy we're here. And when you see this journey of We Are Freestyle Love Supreme, you will see what it takes to get to where we are.
Yeah, well, as somebody who has seen you perform live, I remember thinking, this guy should never do anything else. Like, this is what he's born to do. Was there anything else that crossed your mind, or was it performing all the way through your life?
From the moment I was 4 years old and I had my first solo in church and I heard those applause, this is all I've ever wanted to do. So this is all I've been gunning for, and I have loved every second. Every door that is closed has been a magical moment because it's led to a door that is opened. And I am so blessed and glad to be here. This is the journey I wanted to be on. And the great thing about things like this is there's no destination. It's just an awesome journey, and I am loving the ride, and I will ride it out till I'm done.
Yeah, you have bright things ahead. Continued success.
Thank you, sir.
When we get back in studio, you have to perform on our stage.
Trust me, Ryan, I promise I will be there live, making it cool so people can know what's going on as we kick it at Windy City Live strong. That's how we pull it off, man.
Let's see the Tony one more time. Can you sing us out?
Baby. Windy City Live, Ryan and James Iglehart with the Tony spinning, doing my part. Peace.
James Monroe Iglehart. We'll be right back with more Windy City Live.